What's up, everybody? It's Soren Baker.
Amir, Rahimi.
And today on The Great Debaters, we're taking it to one of my all-time favorite artists, Too Short, Born to Mack. Get ready. Alright, Amir, so today on The Great Debaters, we are talking about the 3 best songs on Born to Mack. This is Too Short's first national album. The first one that got picked up by Jive. They released it independently on Dangerous Music in 87. 88 it gets picked up, and 89-ish, as Short continues to go, it gets reissued. So there's so many different versions of this album. The independent, the Jive version, the soon after Jive released re-release of Jive that didn't get a re-release notice. It's just all over the place. But we're just going to go with 3 of the songs on Born to Mack that we like the most. And as you guys know from The Great Debaters, please be sure to like, subscribe, and share our content, because we want to keep bringing these videos to you guys and keep these debates going. And, you know, everybody got love for Too Short, or they should. So Amir, Born to Mack.
Okay.
Once you're hearing this album, was this the first Short album you heard, or what happened?
First Short album I heard was Life Is Too Short. That was the first one I heard. And I don't remember when I heard it. It was not one of the first albums I had. It came a couple of years down after that. But Born to Mack I had visited after that. And the first thing that strikes me about this album is just how simple and iconic the cover is.
Yeah, it's a masterpiece.
Him in the car, just really just looking like a Mac with the chains, just the jewelry. The car is just dope as hell. Just the white background, the money symbol in Short. It's just well played. And Short, throughout the majority of his career, I don't want to say kept it the same, because I don't want to say that because it sounds like he's not like versatile, because he's actually just so great with everything that he's done. But he's one of those people who stays true to himself. That's, I guess, what I was getting at. And one of my favorite songs on this that I just really want to get into, and I feel like it should be everyone's favorite song on the album, and if not favorite, then top 2, is Freaky Tales, man. Getting into that, I wish, like, this is one of those albums that I kind of wish that I was there in 87. I was there around the time, or even in Oakland, or just anywhere during this album. For the first time in that era must have been just a whole different experience. Is hearing this.
It was.
Hearing this now, it's like, because one thing that listening to music so much later for me is that I can only guess. Not guess, but it's so weird for me to listen to something and just be like, okay, well, the album's like this, all sounded at this time, or didn't sound like this, because I can kind of only guess from what I have, whereas there's so many underground albums or artists that I'm still will get to years later. So to hear the bass and the production on songs like Freaky Tales, what other songs in this era had production like that, if any, that were not local to, I guess, the Oakland scene? And to hear just the rhymes and that bass and that reverb, the reverb on that song is like 1 second delay. It's just like amazing. And then it all starts off with his story with the 16 girls sucking on 10 toes, and then he goes into his record label was the 75 Girls, and the original Freaky Tales, which is not present on this album, was about 75 girls, and that song, you can imagine, was probably like 20 minutes long.
It's a long one.
And this one, on this album, is about like 40 girls or so, 30, 40 girls, and this is the one that we all know. And just hearing the tales and the stories on the song, which are clearly exaggerated and fictional, are just... I've played this song so many times with friends, and they're all like, this is what you listen to? Because not all my friends like rap like me, obviously, so it's just one of those songs, man, that is just so fantastic, and it sets Short apart from so many people. And I feel like in 87 to make a song like this, or like he made it earlier, obviously. What were you thinking in 87? So
Dude,
hear this?
I just remember the fact that there were multiple versions of this song too. Like, getting this album, I was just like, dude, what is going on with this guy? Like, it's just amazing and crazy and wild. And I'm a little kid, you know, I'm not even a teenager. I'm a little kid listening to this. And I was just like, I didn't understand what he was talking about, but I wanted to understand what he was talking about because I was like, man, this dude, you know, man, it was crazy. And the thing about it is, as the player, the Mac, all this type of stuff that he referenced, talked about, and broke down, and really helped introduce, if not outright introduce to the game, it was just crazy that, you know, U.T.F.O had Roxanne. They were all trying to get the same girl, and Short's talking about 30 girls, 40 girls, 50 girls in one song, dude. That's only Freaky Tales. He talks about girls on other songs too. And he's naming them. So I remember the whole thing is, at times it would be a situation where the girl would be like, oh, I'm glad my name wasn't in the song. Or, you know, Brenda, like everybody's like, ooh, Brenda, you were in Freaky Tale. You know, whatever it was, whatever the girl's name was at the time. So that always, you know, was funny because, you know, the girls really took it to heart that they were or were not mentioned in there. And of course, I grew up in Maryland, so they didn't know Too Short or ever met him or anything, and they were all my age approximately. So, you know, very young. And even a couple years later, because this is one of those songs in rap history that lingered a while, and still it has such an impact, as does another song I'm sure we'll mention, at least I will, as one of my top tracks on Born to Mack. But it just showed Short and his Don't Stop Rapping-ness. Like, I had the 75 Girls albums, I got them around this time, but I got Born to Mack first. So I heard those songs after I heard Born to Mack, and I got them after, because it wasn't, I had never seen them, I had heard about them and read about them, but I didn't have any access to the first three albums. So this to me was the fourth album. It's kind of like Star Wars. I heard the fourth one first, and then I had to go back to parts 1, 2, and 3 with Short. So that was interesting, and he's one of my favorite rappers of all time, and I think one of the best rappers of all time.
Yes.
It's just remarkable. So that's Freaky Tales and many iterations of it. So for you, Amir, what's your second track?
Second track is probably the track that you were mentioning earlier, which would be Dope Fiend Beat. That beat is also just crazy, and these two songs already, just these two songs we're talking about, run at about 7 or 16 minutes.
Long, dude.
16 minutes between the two, and it's just like, this is one rapper who we said he's, at this point now in 2020, he's been rapping for close to 40 years.
Right.
It's not quite 40. I think it was probably started in like 82 or 83, around there.
Early in the game.
So, and we hear him still to this day. At least I think he's still a talented artist and rapper.
Absolutely.
So, Dope Fiend Beat, man, this fool is just this beat is just, it knocks. And we were, me and Soren talked about this. Also, I've read interviews, particularly people in California, they would do things called like the car test. And this is one of those beats that, you know, when you play it in your car, you're like, okay, this is right. This is going on the album. We're gonna hear this around the block once this drops. This is one of those songs. Freaky Tale is one of those songs. This album and later Short albums, you can tell like these all pass those car tests.
It has that bottom, man. It's got
it
that
does.
bottom.
That bass, just the aftermarket speakers, you know this album was bumping in it, an album similar. And especially, like I said, like 87, I really wonder like what was coming out of those cars. I guarantee a bunch of them had this tape in it. And Dope Fiend Beat had to have been one of the songs. It's just stupid good.
Well, I've talked to Money B a lot over the years from Digital Underground, and he told me he was at the show where Short wasn't the headliner, but should have been the headliner, and all the out-of-town artists were kind of shocked when, because Dope Fiend Beat was the big song, and it basically, the Oakland Arena, or I guess it would have been called at the time. But Money B and I talked about this on Unique Access, so you guys can find that interview, and we'll link to that. But the point being is that this song, as much as Freaky Tales is to a lot of people, Dope Fiend Beat is like 1A. You know, it's right there. And it's just amazing because, you know, we had, by 86, 87, I think rap because it had become more of a business and people were starting to make songs, make singles, and this is right when we're getting into a lot of albums starting to come out. You know, people were making songs in an effort to get them on the radio or to get them in a mix show with Mr. Magic or Red Alert or what have you. So the dynamics of how songs were being made. So if you go back to Rapper's Delight, that's a super long song and they just made it. And depending on what version you have of that, it could be 12 minutes or something crazy. So Short kind of throw it back because clearly Fiend Beat and Freaky Tales were not getting on the radio. So it didn't matter if they were 3 minutes and 12 seconds or 12 minutes and 19 seconds. Neither one was getting played. So, it was just cool to see somebody like really embrace what his artistry was and to do it his way. And that was, something that I always respected and liked about him, is that he just did what he wanted to do and then was rewarded with that, with the, exceptional career that continues till today. So Amir, what's your third track and why?
My third track, so this is, it was a little tougher for me to pick a third song. Reason being, although I like the album, for me a lot of the production is more dated as compared to like from Life is Too Short and on. And for me, due to the production, I guess not growing up with the album, it doesn't stick with me as much aside from a few tracks. So for me to pick the third song, it was a little tougher because I listened to those two tracks so much that the other parts of the album kind of drowned out after I'd listened to it all, the first few times. So for me, the third track, I'm picking Party Time. I really like how it starts off the album. I like the story on it, and it's got a dope beat as well, and Short goes flowing on it.
Yeah, well, Party Time, it's either that or Mac Attack for me, and it's hard for me to pick because I think I like the beat on Mac Attack better, so I'm going to ride with that. But Party Time, since that's one that you picked, I definitely want to talk about it because, yes, it starts off the album and it's strong and everything, but I had known Too Short from Freaky Tales and stuff, so I knew his profanity, and kind of like it had not happened yet, but with Eazy-Duz-It in particular, you had the first half of the album had a lot of profanity and the second half didn't have any really. So for Short, who I knew and was getting to know his catalog at the time, to come out with the first song on the album and he just has Walk Around with Your Dick on the Roof was really the only thing that was questionable on that song. But that started off the album and I liked it. It sounded like he had that bass and he's scratching in the rock guitar and all that stuff, so that was cool. But Mac Attack, I just liked the feel of the beat better, and it sounded sonically more in line with Freaky Tales and Fiend Beat to me at least. And I liked it, Party Time has scratching too, but I liked Mac Attack has a scratching too. So I don't know, man. Those four are my favorites by far, but I give Mac Attack the slight edge because I like the beat better in particular. So, those are my picks and Amir's picks on the top 3 tracks on Too Short's Born to Mack. Make sure you listen to this album if you haven't already, and of course be sure to like, subscribe, and share to both Unique Access and to Rapping and Snacking. And hit us up in the comment section, and somebody will get back to you, whether it's good folks at Rapping and Snacking or my good friends at Unique Access. I'm Soren Baker.
Amir, Rahimi.
The Great Debaters, y'all. Too Short.
Be sure to check out the history of gangster rap by Soren Baker. He's official.
History of Gangster Rap features exclusive interviews with Ice-T, Snoop Dogg, MC Ren, the D.O.C, and dozens of others. The History of Gangster Rap, a definitive look at how Los Angeles changed rap forever.
In Los Angeles, the streets definitely set the tone of the hip-hop music.
At 19, I got a $50,000 car.
My whole angle always was, I'll be street, but I will always tell you the horrors that go along with this life.
There will be penalties and casualties for just wearing the wrong color in somebody's neighborhood.
And once gangster rap made it from the streets to the TV, the genre exploded.
With Fab 5 on your TV back with NWA.
Yo MTV, it just catapulted us from being local heroes to national gangbang rappers.
The history of gangster rap discusses it all from 1980 up till today.
It's always gonna be shit happening in the streets. You know what I mean? So it's always gonna be something to talk about.
The history of gangster rap in stores now.